The Atrium Oasis dry suction water-sealed chest drain system is used at St. Mary Mercy Hospital to maintain the drainage from chest tubes. But over the course of treatment, it is likely that the Oasis will need to be replaced with a new unit. This video will demonstrate the proper way to safely exchange Oasis units. If the container fills to the 2-liter capacity, a new Oasis system would need to be attached to the patient. If at any point the container is knocked or tipped over, the Oasis must be replaced. If you see the container get knocked over, obviously you'll know it needs to be replaced, but oftentimes the patient kicks it over accidentally when the nurse is not in the room to see it. How would you know if it's been knocked over? If you look at the drainage columns and you see fluid in the second or third columns when the previous column isn't filled to capacity, that is a clear indication that the system was knocked over and will need to be replaced as soon as possible. If the Oasis is ever cracked or damaged, change the system. Attach a new Oasis as soon as possible. To change the Oasis, simply open a new Oasis kit that can be found in the pod room. Prime the system with the provided sterile water, and then remove the tubing that is attached to the new Oasis system. You will use the tubing from the previous Oasis. You only need to replace the Oasis container, not the tubing. In a separate video in this series, we showed that you should tape the connection from the Oasis to the chest tube to protect them from being separated accidentally. You should never need to remove that tape or disconnect this connection. You should only be using the inline connector when exchanging Oasis units. First, clamp the tubing going from the current Oasis unit to the patient. Turn off the wall suction. Then detach the tubing at the inline connection. Insert it into the connector for the new Oasis container. Next, move the suction tubing from the old container to the new one, and make sure the suction settings on the new Oasis match that of the previous unit. Open the clamp going to the patient, and then turn the wall suction back to reg for continuous suction. Ensure that the bellows are inflated. Before disposing of the old Oasis, document the amount of drainage in Epic. Then put the old Oasis container in the biohazard bin. It is not intended to be emptied before disposal. If the patient has a Blake tube placed, which is the smaller gauge chest tube that is sometimes used, there should be a small adapter taped to the back of the Oasis system. Be sure to transfer that adapter to the new Oasis container. It will be needed when we near the end of treatment with this chest tube, and if it is lost, it is very difficult to obtain a new one.